So as a tech reviewer and writer, it is not often nowadays, I'll tell you what, when a phone launches or drops that makes me stop what I'm doing and actually pay attention. But this, the 2026 Motorola G Stylus, believe it or not, has, because every time I pick this up and hold this in my hands, I get all excited because here's the thing. In this case, Motorola has just out Samsung. Specs-wise, this year's G Stylus is nearly identical to last year's model, so if you bought the 2025 edition, you might have some buyer's remorse there. So check this, guys. Same processor, that means the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3, same 6.7-inch display with 120Hz refresh rate, absolutely nothing wrong with that there. The same rear 50-megapixel main and 13-megapixel ultra-wide, not to mention a 32-megapixel selfie camera. Now, they also have same internal speakers, and there's only 1 gram that differentiates between them in terms of weight, but they're still light phones at 192 grams for this new one. Now, the important part for some is what's actually different about this new device, which is something easy to miss if you aren't looking in the right places or hard enough. For example, the price. $500 in the big scheme of things is really not that much, right? But when you compare it generation to generation, that's $100 more than before, and can thank things like tariffs and skyrocketing memory prices for that. The battery is slightly bigger, 5200 milliamp hours as opposed to 5000, and during my time with it, I can easily knock out a day and a half of above average use, including some light gaming and editing, and even at the end of it, I'll still be like at 10-12%. That's not bad. And when you're ready to top it up, there is 68 watts of fast charging via USB-C and 15 watts wireless charging. That's a pretty good combo for this price. The RAM type is also now DDR5X, while internal storage has been bumped from UFS 2.2 to UFS 3.1, and that's significant because that makes it better suited for things like RAM boosting, even if I still don't encourage it. And I know the display specs are pretty much identical, but it is much brighter now too as well, guys. It is 5000 nits max versus 3000 from the previous gen. That's quite a big jump. In terms of protection as well, it is IP68 and IP69 dust water resistance for both the phone and the stylus. Yes. So here we are, last but not least, we have an active stylus now with palm rejection and 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity. And it has also under 5 milliseconds of latency, according to factory anyway, but during my use with this thing, it is nice and fast, I'll tell you what. And battery life I'm able to eke out like 3.5 hours of active writing, so that's not bad at all. Here's the thing, looking at synthetic numbers alone, just check out these scores. Performance is just okay, like it's straight out of budget phone 2023 or something, because that's how old the processor is. But I will counter that by saying that the phone, in day-to-day use, it hums along just fine with the 6 Gen 3. It's good enough for mid-range graphics and gaming and light video editing. Rapidly switching between camera modes is surprisingly quick and all that. So is AI-related actions like sketch to image and magic eraser. But for goodness sakes, Motorola, why did you skip putting a newer chip in this one? I would have been happy enough with a Snapdragon 6S Gen 4 or even just the 6 Gen 4. That would be fine. It's almost as if Motorola has become Chinese and has gotten scared of the number 4. Oh wait, I forgot. Motorola is owned by Lenovo. That is Chinese. Oh, the plot thickens. How these guys managed to slap such a nice display at this price, we'll never know. But here, the colors are fantastic. 120 Hz, I would say, is more than smooth enough for the average user and gamer. And I don't have the exact PWM specs available, but flicker seems to hover around the low to moderate range. Outdoor direct sunlight viewing is right up there also with some of the top guns. The primary camera takes well exposed and detailed pictures when there's plenty of photons hitting the 50 megapixel Sony Litia 700C sensor. Indoors or in lesser light, it actually does pretty well, calculating the right amount of white balance and keeping over sharpening in check. Of course, extreme low lights or nighttime shots introduce poor shadow and noise control. Whether it was intentional or not, I appreciate that the camera programming doesn't obscenely brighten the entire scene in night mode like others do. Like the shot basically looks exactly like it is in real life. For example, the darkness you see in these pictures is exactly what my eyes saw. It's literally what you see is what you get. And maybe I'm kind of over how other brands like Google, Samsung, and Apple approach night photography by artificially boosting the entire photo as if, I don't know, God was holding up a giant studio light in the sky or something. Now, compared to other phones I've tested in the same scenarios, this G Stylus is more sensitive to lens flaring, so be aware of where your light sources are coming from. As for video, I'm not going to complain about the lack of 4K 60, but I will complain about the persistent micro jitter you see in these samples. I'm quite sure it's stab related, and I thought stepping down from 4K to 1080p would mitigate that issue, but nope. On the flip side, a nice surprise is how good the selfie sensor is. There's really good color reproduction and exposure here with plenty of detail. I would stay away from portrait mode though, since the algorithm kinda sucks at deciding when and where to apply the tone. Arguably the biggest and only reason why you want this phone over a similar price Pixel 10a, which takes better pictures of your cat in a hat and the chicken curry you cooked yesterday that was probably more delicious looking on your Instagram post than in real life. Yes, the best reason to buy this phone is the active stylus and the way superior display and the faster charging speeds, but the main star to me is the stylus. Where Samsung has failed to deliver a proper mid-range S Pen phone, Motorola, guess what, has carved the space for itself and continued to refine the experience year after year. Like this year's shift to the active pen, it brings tilt and pressure detection for way more realistic note-taking and digital drawing. It's such a joy to use, I'll tell you what, guys. Now, if the screen had a more paper-like surface such as TCL's Next Paper Tech, that would have been a nice icing on the cake. I know some folks who believe that Motorola shot itself in the foot by increasing the price by $100 this year, but guess what? In today's landscape, that's, somewhat justifiable, although they do sweeten the pot at launch by including a 4-pack of Moto tags. And if you spring for the $600 256GB model, they throw in a pair of earbuds and a Moto watch and a Moto tag too. That's not shabby at all, isn't it? Dare I say it? I think I might jinx it, but here goes, guys. I think Motorola is finally getting its crap together, at least here in the US. Like, aside from their fantastic Razr, most of their phones in the past few years have been so forgettable and so sad. Like, what happened to the glory days? Why can't we have more Moto X magic, for crying out loud? But anyways, if the 2026 G Stylus is anything to go by, with its holistic user experience that gels almost like a Pixel phone, and of course that fantastic stylus and screen, I'm going to be recommending Motorola up the yin-yang from now on. And since I have your attention, Motorola, please don't mess this up, and also please bring the signature to North America, because that's the phone Americans need, not this abomination. Well, that was my take on the 2026 G Stylus, and I'm sticking to it, dang it. And thanks to Motorola for playing, and thank you guys for being here as well. If you like what I do, if you like to see more content like this, subscribe, like, and reshare this with your friends. You know what to do. Please help support this channel and help me grow. And remember, guys, to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? If you haven't seen the news out there, the world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love y'all guys very much. Peace out, and God bless. Side swiper.